There are places we're told never to enter, caves that breathe, waters that glow, skies that fall silent. But what happens when someone does enter? What happens when something comes out? Tonight on X Site, we follow the ripple that began in a forgotten desert cave and spread to cities, oceans, and skies across the world. Not just lights, not just stories, but encounters, silent, deliberate, and closer than we ever imagined. Before this ends, you may start to wonder, are they revealing themselves, or have they always been here, just hidden in plain sight? In the scorched desert of the American Southwest, the air carries a stillness that feels ancient, heavy, dry, almost watching. Daniel, a young tourist and aspiring filmmaker, came to this barren land for one purpose: to capture silence and beauty for his YouTube channel. He had heard whispers from locals about a cave that breathes. Some called it cursed, others sacred. All said the same thing: stay away. But Daniel didn't believe in curses. He believed in views, clicks, and stories. Just after sunrise, he reached the canyon. The sun cast long, golden shadows across sandstone cliffs. He hiked in silence until he found it, carved into the cliffside like a mouth, dark and patient. As he approached, the wind died. The air turned warm. Then came a low vibration beneath his boots, not shaking but pulsing steady like a slow heartbeat from deep underground. He stepped to the edge of the cave and felt something unnatural, heat brushing across his skin, not from the sun but from within. He raised his flashlight and entered. The narrow passage was carved too smoothly, the walls curving in unnatural arcs. Then light. From deeper inside, something glowed, not yellow like fire, not white like LEDs. It was blue, soft, alive. It pulsed with a rhythm that felt too aware. Suddenly, the light surged forward, not a flash, but a form. A shape peeled itself from the floor of the cave, silver, rounded, seamless. It floated upward without touching the stone. Daniel gasped, stumbling backward. His camera dropped into the sand, lens cracked. The object rose past the cave's mouth, into the morning light, turning slowly as it ascended, then shot into the sky and vanished behind the clouds. The pulse remained in the cave walls, and Daniel, shaking, breathless, had no words. That was just the beginning. Within a week, the skies began to change. In a quiet neighborhood in New Mexico, a woman stepped onto her porch with a cup of tea and saw it. Above the rooftops, just hovering, a silver disc, no wider than a school bus with a glassy dome on top. It spun slowly in place. No lights, no sound, almost like it was watching. 2 states over in Arizona, a solo hiker paused at the edge of a ridge, filming the golden desert below. He didn't notice the shape behind him until his camera lens flickered. Floating just above the sand was a massive saucer, glowing faintly along its edges. It moved slowly, not as if flying, but as if studying the land beneath it. The sand rippled under its presence, though no wind blew. In San Francisco, someone looking out across the bay spotted what they thought was a submarine surfacing. It was round, dome-shaped, glossy. Lights along its side blinked in perfect sequence. But instead of creating waves, it rose without displacing water, hovered, then sank beneath the surface without a sound. Each sighting came with the same eerie quality: silence, no speed. No urgency, just a presence, and none of them tried to hide. Some were caught on security cameras, others through cracked windshields or phone lenses that refused to focus. But one thing was clear: they wanted to be seen. As if the thing that rose from the cave had not left alone. As if it had opened a path. Over the skyline of Chicago, a delivery man on his late-night shift glanced up between 2 tall buildings. There, suspended in the fog, not flying, but simply there, was a black triangular shape. No lights, no movement. just a dark absence in the sky, like something had cut a hole through the clouds. He blinked. It hadn't moved. But when a flock of birds passed by, they split around it like they could feel something invisible hanging in their path. It remained for exactly 7 minutes. No engine, no sound. And then it tilted ever so slightly and vanished, not by flying away, but by folding into the mist. In the following days, others saw similar things. A hovering sphere outside a child's bedroom window in Ohio. A spinning metallic ring spotted over a frozen lake in Canada. A tall, thin silhouette standing motionless on a distant ridge in Utah, seen by hikers, but never caught on camera. Not every sighting was in the sky. Some were watching from the ground. In the outskirts of a village near the Mekong River, an old fisherman was tying his nets at dusk. The river was calm, the air thick with humidity. Crickets chirped in rhythm. Then everything went silent, not quiet, dead silent, no bugs. No breeze, not even the water moved. He looked up and saw a shape rising from the middle of the river. It was circular, flat, and almost transparent. Only the glimmer of water dripping from its surface gave it away. Lights along its edge began to blink, softly then faster, as if responding to something. The water beneath it didn't splash or ripple. Instead, it glowed, pale blue, spreading outward in perfect rings like heat on glass. The object rose higher and higher until it passed through a thin layer of clouds and disappeared without a trace. But for hours afterward, the fish refused to come near the area where it had hovered. And the glow in the water returned 3 nights later. High in the Peruvian Andes, a group of backpackers filmed a time-lapse of the sky. They wanted stars. What they captured was something else. At precisely 2:14 a.m., a dark shape appeared in the sky, barely visible against the black. It moved slowly, then paused above a sharp mountain peak. Suddenly, the peak itself, solid rock, began to shimmer. A ring of light formed around its summit, faint at first, then brighter, pulsing. The object hovered directly above the light, then descended into it, vanishing into the rock like it wasn't there at all. The group rushed to the spot the next morning. The mountain was solid, no entrance, no cave, no mark. But one of them said she could hear something deep below the stone. A humming, a pulse. In a remote farming town in Montana, a teenager named Caleb was testing his drone just before midnight. The sky was clear, the wind still. The drone buzzed quietly as it lifted, climbing above the open fields. Then the signal cut. On the controller screen, static. Above him, nothing. Caleb looked up, squinting, then froze. Floating silently no more than 50 feet above him was a perfect white sphere. Smooth, featureless, motionless. But as he reached into his pocket to grab his phone, the sphere rotated. Not to move, but to face him. There were no eyes, no camera, but he felt something, a pressure in his chest, like he was being scanned or heard. He whispered, "What are you?" And in that moment, his ears popped, like the air had shifted and the sphere blinked once. A ripple of light passed through it. Then it shot upward, disappearing in less than a second. The drone was never found. But that night, every watch and phone in Caleb's house lost 43 seconds. At the same time. January 24th, 2025. Austin, Texas. At Windwood Cemetery, a glowing sphere appeared above the oldest part of the graveyard. Locals rushed out with phones, recording from sidewalks and porches. It wasn't just light, it was moving. Expanding, contracting, like it was alive. Some said it looked like a heart. Others said it pulsed like a signal. Then came the swarm. Dozens of tiny lights began swirling out of the sphere, forming a cloud above the gravestones. They danced in organized patterns, shapes, symbols, perhaps even language. And just as quickly, police arrived. But these weren't normal patrol cars. These were black SUVs. Officers in plain clothes told everyone to go inside. They confiscated phones from some of the onlookers. Within 10 minutes, the lights vanished. By morning, no local news reported the event, but someone had uploaded a video before the takedown. Frame by frame, it revealed something hidden inside the main sphere, a figure. Tall, slender, not fully formed. Like a silhouette made of glass and fire. At a luxury resort in the Philippines, guests were lounging by the beach when the world went quiet. No wind, no birds, even the waves seemed to pause. Then, from behind a thin wall of clouds, a massive disk slowly revealed itself. It was metallic but dull, like old silver. Around its edges were soft pulses of amber light. It hovered low just above the water, close enough that the sea pulled slightly upward beneath it. People froze, some recorded, some prayed. Then, from the center of the craft, a single beam of golden light descended, not straight, but spiraling like a helix. It didn't touch anyone, it didn't move, it simply waited. One guest, a woman in her 60s, walked toward it as if in a trance. But just before she entered the beam, the light flickered and retracted. A deep hum like a whale's song filled the air. And then, silence. The craft tilted, shimmered, and vanished. Not upward, but sideways, like slipping into another dimension. Later, the woman said she had no memory of walking forward, but in her pocket was a seashell she didn't recognize. Perfectly spiral-shaped, softly warm. A soft breath from stone and something rising. Since then, they've appeared in mirrors of water, in clouds without storms, in the quiet between thoughts. Not fleeing, not chasing, simply watching. Some say it's research, others warning, but maybe it's neither. Maybe it's the opening of something much older than we know. If you've seen something, if you've felt something that doesn't belong, tell us, because what if the next sighting isn't in the sky, but right outside your window? This is X Sight, and we're just beginning to see the truth.